Okay, so today I'm making a video about two clocks that I've probably most recently added to my collection and finished restoring. So the first one is a Seth Sonora chime on 4 rods. And the second one is this Ansonia Parlor clock from about the 1880s. This one is called the Arizona. So these two clocks came from that estate collection that we were able to get the Gustav Becker chime clock and the New Haven banjo clock. So they had these two clocks, and they had many other ones that my family members got too, but they had these two sitting on the shelf, and these two really caught my eye because, first of all, this one was a Sonora chime for like a really good price, and the other Ansonia caught my eye because I really have like a soft spot in my heart for parlor clocks, especially the Victorian style ones, and so that one really fell into the category. When I got this clock, the entire curved section, so excluding these bottom pieces of wood, the entire curved section had no stain on it whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure that whoever had worked on it previously had re-veneered it, because you could see that this has one type of grain and then another type of grain, and then it goes back to the original one, and then it goes to the different one. And then on the front, you can kind of see that like whoever had glued it didn't do such a good job. So I take back what I said about it having no stain on it. It had a little bit of stain on it, probably some semi-transparent, but I had to sand all the way down to the bare wood, and I had identified that it was gonna be this red mahogany color based off this wood down here, because this is antique wood. You can see by the alligatoring on it. So I had to figure out, how am I gonna make this red mahogany finish look antique? Because when I put this red mahogany stain on it, it just is brown. So then it dawned on me, well, you have to dye the wood red. So I had to take denatured alcohol mixed with food coloring, red food coloring, and dye the wood. So that came out pretty good. And then it took me about 3 or 4 coats of stain to get past the denatured alcohol kind of dullness and get it kind of shiny bright. But not too shiny bright, because I wanted it to look old still. So after I let that cure, I went ahead and put the shellac over it, and it came out like this. So not bad at all. Here it is compared to an original 1906 Johann's red mahogany, and in my opinion, Johann's made the best red mahogany cases. Now the dying question, what does it sound like? So here you go. So this clock is made out of walnut. It's an Ansonia. It's called the Arizona. And what drew me to this clock more than the other parlor clocks that she had was the fact that it had a more like defined sort of pentagon shape. So it has a fine line there, and then there, and there, and then in general it goes up like this and down like that. And you can see it highlighted on the door. So I really liked this clock, but when I got it, this entire piece here was chopped off. So I had to take extra wood that I had laying around and kind of mold it to create it. And you can see that it, like, the match isn't the best. It's not terrible, it could be worse, but it's not great. But I don't really care about that, because when I have it sitting where it's at, it's not really in the sun, so it's not highlighted. so I don't notice it. And if you're from far away, you don't notice it. If you're up close, you can kind of notice it, but it's not too bad. Overall, there isn't much to talk about with this clock. I mean, I like the brown dial, even though it's supposed to be white. It's tarnished with age, but I like the brown dial with the gold pan that matches with the glass and the pendulum. And I really like the barrel pendulum on this clock. It looks really good. And I also like the glass on it. It has a nice design with the two people holding flowers symmetrically. And then it's got the design in the middle that is almost perfectly symmetrical as well. So overall, it's just a nice clock, and I'm glad I got it. The case was really dirty when I got it, and then I cleaned it up and it turned out really good. I would take off the dial, but since the movement is just your typical Ansonia striking movement, there isn't really much to see, because I'm sure you all have seen one of those, and if not, I'll just put a picture in real quick. But it's got a nice swing of the pendulum, and the gong is kind of a tingy gong. It's not really one that I would be like, oh yeah, I have to hear that, but it kind of sounds like this. I have it keeping time right now, so I don't want to move it forward. But yeah, overall, a nice clock. Okay, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next clock video.